Okay. Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to our school board meeting this evening. I call this public meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors to order on Thursday, September 26th at 6:31 p.m. I would like to remind our community that the purpose of our board meetings is to conduct the business of the district first and for everyone to learn about the district in a safe and productive manner. First off, we are going to start with our community comments. And I'm going to read what is here and call up our first speaker. Community comments are an opportunity for our community to share their ideas and opinions with the board. Input is welcome and valued. It is our duty to keep it safe and respectful for everyone, students, staff, and our community. And this is not a time for discussion or debate. If you have materials for the board, please give them to the board secretary, who will distribute them to the board members after the meeting. Letters to the board are always welcome, and each of us reads the input. Requests for information should be requested as outlined in policy KBA-AR. Any individual desiring to speak will have indicated their desire prior to the board meeting. Any individual with a disability will be given an equal opportunity to participate in board meetings. This may include someone speaking on their behalf if their disability or other medical need limits their ability to attend in person. Board policy also speaks to accommodations available. A speaker will be required to give their name, city of residence, and the group, if any, that is represented. If there are more patrons desiring to present comments than time allotted, the board chair has the authority to reduce the presentation time for individual speakers or institute a prioritization process with first priority to students and city of residence. Speakers may offer objective criticisms of district operations and programs that are of a concern to them. The board is restricted from hearing and will not consider complaints regarding any individual district staff member or any person connected with the district. Comments that make a staff member identifiable to the public, even without their specific name, violate this policy. As an organization centered around youth and their positive development, all speakers will model respectful public comment and be mindful of civil discourse. And now we will keep the order of speakers that will be announced by the chair. That is me. And so first off, we welcome Kylie Corbis. And I believe speaking for her is Michael Corbis. And if you can state your name, your city of residence, group, if any, and the clock will begin. Okay.
All right. Michael Corbis, Oak Grove. I've come to know many of my neighbors in the North Clackamas area through the different Facebook community pages where I have posted videos of the speeches I have made here at the North Clackamas School District Board meetings over the last couple of years. I have also gotten to know more in our community through interactions on videos I have posted with me singing to my daughter, Kylie. And here's Kylie, by the way, everybody. Kylie. She loves music, and I have appreciated all the nice comments from everybody. Even a guy who told me on one of my first school board speeches, and I quote, "I don't associate with your kind," has become an acquaintance who now has made nice comments to my on my post about me singing to my daughter Kylie. I'd say that's progress. Two people who don't see eye to eye still able to interact and appreciate each other as humans. That is the power of music and my daughter Kylie, who is impossible not to love. And I have no hard feelings towards him. In fact, where's the camera? I love you, Bill. All right. This agreeing to disagree while still being friends is what is missing in this district due to the ideology you are teaching, pitting one group against another, which we spoke on quite extensively last year. Now, not everybody agrees with me on the different issues I have talked about at board meetings, and that is okay, of course. But many of those people, like me, are loving parents, and I imagine many of you are that, to their children. And I think we can all agree that parents are the ones who should determine what's best for their children, right? So no matter if you are a parent who is a Democrat, Republican, independent, or a liberal or conservative, or maybe you are someone who tries to avoid politics altogether, you probably would share my concern when I found out that a sitting board member here tonight, who is running for state representative, posted this on Facebook. Right here. It says, if your parents aren't accepting of your identity, I'm your mom now. And then it goes on to say, drink some water, take your meds, make sure you eat, I love you. What kind of medication is she talking about? Puberty blockers, hormones? Can she give medical advice legally? It's a good question, can't she? How is this okay for her to say? These are other people's kids she's talking about, not hers. Is this the position of the rest of you on the school board? Is this the policy of the North Clackamas School District? And for that matter, once again, is this legal to claim to be a parent of a child and give medical advice because their parents don't believe the way you demand?
Okay, Mr. Corvus, your time is up. And I
Okay.
see that you are signed up as yourself. So we'll start the clock. When you're
Okay. I'll repeat that line. And for that matter, once again, is this legal to claim? Is it legal? It's a good question. To be a parent of a child and give medical advice because their parents don't believe the way you demand. Is it? I've spoken out for the last 2 years because a teacher in this district threatened to have my daughter Kylie, who experiences disability. Gee, I've told this 100 times. My daughter Kylie, she's important to my family. She's important to my family, our family. She threatened to have her taken away by Child Protective Services out of spite because we didn't believe the way she demanded. And you all stayed silent. You basically went with the team that you've signed up with, progressive politics, and you look the other way. And now this. In 2023, the state just to the south of us passed a law that threatened to do just what this board member claims she could do. Who does she think she is? Fortunately, the Democrat governor vetoed that bill in California. And as parents, we can't allow this taking of our parental rights, no matter where we stand politically. I think we could all agree on that. Even if the California governor, Gavin Newsom, the governor of a very liberal state, vetoed that bill, we need to veto the school board member, April Dobson. I know you don't like me saying the name, but she's called me out before. In her plan to take our kids from us, veto April. That's what I'm saying. All right? They're our kids, not yours.
Okay, next up we have Christopher Polk. Hi, and if you can say your name, city of residence, and group, if any, the clock will begin. Thanks. I think your mic is off if you want to hit the green. Yeah.
Christopher Polk, Happy Valley. I'm not representing any group other than maybe myself and other parents. This is my fourth child going through the North Clackamas School District. I have never been to the point where I felt like I needed to attend one of these or was at this point before. My daughter is involved in extracurricular activities. She's a cheerleader, so she's busy basically all of the year. And my concern started with the Yonder pouch. And it is in my mind, a overreach by the board in implementing this. While I agree classrooms should be free of devices, however, Chromebooks are used, MacBooks are used, other things that can do everything that this device right here, which is very easily not used. I do need to talk to her during the day from time to time, so does my wife. And there are things that we don't want to go through a school office. And it's not because it's anything necessarily bad or detrimental. I should be able to access my child when I feel the need. That is within certain understandings of basic guidelines, not during a class. If I send her a message, I expect a response at lunch. Perfectly reasonable timing. Again, it is an overreach to say that she can't use a device that I pay for. It is mine, not yours. In at times that are appropriate. Because there are reasonable reasons to reach out to your child who may need to figure out transportation, because both my wife and I work jobs where we may not always be available to do things and have to make arrangements in a short period of time. Also, when you start thinking about the overall cost, $300,000, regardless of where it came from. I've seen it over, my oldest daughter is 29. My daughter is now just about 17. The quality of what's being provided, it has changed. Regression isn't the right answer. Locking things up isn't the right answer. Figuring out ways to be proactive, forward, maybe even using this instead of Chromebooks. We are in a point in time where we need to be able to move forward, not lock things up, not look back, not prohibit a device. It was a bad decision then, it's a bad decision now, and I really am beginning to wonder whether you are able to think of what is good, not just today, but down the road. This is a reoccurring expense for something that literally they write their names on, and it's a one-time, it's gone, it's done. And just to close with this thought, when has prohibition ever been successful in this country? When has prohibition been successful?
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Trisha Britton. If she's in, okay. Hi, and if you can say your name, city of residence, group if any, the clock will start soon. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Trisha Britton, and I'm from West Lynn. Today, I come before you to address a deeply concerning comment made by a current school board member and a candidate for state representative. Her statement on social media has raised serious questions about her judgment and fitness for both of these roles. This board member who wrote, quote, if your parents aren't accepting of your identity, I'm your mom now. Drink some water, take your meds, make sure you eat, I love you, unquote. While the sentiment of caring for our youth is commendable, her words reveal an alarming overreach into the role of parents. Let it be noted, parents are the primary caregivers and advocates for their children. They deserve respect, and their rights should not be undermined by anyone, especially a school board member whose role is to support the family unit, not replace it. Her comment risks creating a divide between parents and the school, fostering mistrust and anxiety where there should be collaboration and support. Furthermore, her reference to meds raises troubling questions. Is she implying that all children are on medication, or is she suggesting that young people undergoing transitions need special treatment? Regardless, as public leaders, you must be cautious with your words. The idea that a school official would casually reference medication in this context is not only irresponsible, but also potentially harmful. We need representatives who understand the importance of family dynamics and prioritize open communication between schools and families. Her comment indicates a disturbing lack of understanding and respect for the role of parents in their children's lives. How can we trust someone to represent us as a state leader if they don't grasp this fundamental principle as a school board member? In a time when our community needs unity and understanding, we cannot afford to have leaders who promote division. We need individuals who value collaboration, respect parental rights, and understand the complexities of family dynamics. As we move forward, let us support candidates who demonstrate integrity and respect for the roles they play in our children's lives. We must hold our public officials accountable for their words and actions. Your board member's recent statement demonstrates that she is not fit to lead in her current role, let alone taking a seat as a state house representative. Our community, our children, and our future are at stake, so don't press your luck on April Dodson. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Angela Peterson. And if you can state your name, your city of residence and group, if any.
My name is Angela Peterson. I live in Oregon City. This board, which includes a current state representative candidate, has demonstrated its inability to find reasonable and responsible solutions to challenges such as the distractions caused by some students' use of cell phones. We all agree that the phones need to be managed properly, but no real district-wide attempt was ever made to enforce an off and away policy that many neighboring districts are currently and have in the past successfully implemented. The purchase of the pouches was an abuse of taxpayers' spending of $300,000. The pouches punish all students for the behaviors of a few. The pouches take away the valuable opportunity for students to learn impulse control, dealing with consequences when the phone policies are violated. And the pouches cause undue stress, anxiety, possible harm in the event of an emergency, as we almost saw at Rex Putnam last Friday. Many students have been told by staff to carry scissors in their car if they drive from campus to the skill center so that they could cut their phone out of the pouch in case of an emergency. This is crazy. It's unnecessary. Here are several perspectives from current North Clackamas students. As a student, I don't put my phone in my yonder pouch, as that's an inconvenience at the end of the day, trying to get out of our small school with only one exit. On top of that, if there were ever to be a dangerous situation, I would have no way to contact my parents, so I keep my phone with me at all times. Nobody that I know of willingly puts their phones in that pouch. During this lockdown, my friend and I hid in the arts building, calling our parents and updating them on what was going on because the school did not until 2 hours after it had started. I'm not on my phone in class, so I don't see why it's a problem for me to just keep it in my bag. Makes it easier to leave the school after it ends as well, because the lines to get the pouch unlocked are insane. I go to Rex Putnam. I do not put my phone in the pouch at all. I just put something else in it. My parent called me and we were able to make sure that they were able to know that I was okay on Friday. The school district, literally wasted $300,000 for people to just break the pouches on purpose. It could have been used for food, air conditioning, or the clubs that we have a need for money, like the drumline, theater department, band, and many more. Those are just a few of the comments from students in the district. I wish that this board would have looked at the realistic consequences of their extreme decision to purchase these pouches, rather than first making an attempt of the off and away policy. This is exactly the kind of leadership we need to avoid in Salem. Thank you.
Okay, I think that wraps up our community comments for this evening. So we will go ahead and resume our agenda with the native land acknowledgement. And if Vice Chair Benaloga, if you can lead the acknowledgement this evening.
We acknowledge the land on which we sit and which we call the North Clackamas School District rests on the traditional and indigenous lands and village sites of the native peoples of the Kalapuya, Chinook, Molalla, and the Clackamas. We take this opportunity to offer gratitude for the ability to learn, work, and be a community on this land, and we offer thanks to the original caretakers of this region. We recognize the historic policies of colonization, genocide, relocation, and assimilation that affected Indigenous and Native families, both past and present, and that will affect those in the future, and honor the resilience and revitalization of our Indigenous and Native communities. We pay our respect to the elders, both past and present, who have been the stewards of this land throughout the generations.
Thank you. And Director Wachter, will you lead the Pledge of Allegiance tonight? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Next up, we have our consent agenda, and this. I'm so sorry. Next up, we have our minutes first, and these are minutes from the September 12th, 2024 board meeting. And so, board, you will find the minutes included in your packet. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Board Chair, I move approval of the board minutes from the meeting September 12th, 2024.
McVeigh, second.
Thank you. Okay, the minutes have been properly moved by Vice Chair Benaloga and seconded by Director McVeigh. Is there a discussion? Okay, seeing none, I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. All those, please say no. Or, I'm sorry, all those who oppose, please say no. Okay, the motion passes with a vote of 7-0. Okay, now we can move on to our consent agenda. So in the board packet, you will find the consent agenda for this evening's meeting. The items on the consent agenda are employment changes, board protocols and operating agreements, budget committee vacancies, and we have one travel request for Sabin-Schellenberg Professional Technical Center by the FFA. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? And a reminder, please read all of the items that are included.
Chair, thank you for the reminder, and I move to make a motion to accept the consent agenda, including employment changes, board protocols and operating agreements, budget committee vacancies, and travel requests for Sabin-Schellenberg Professional Technical Center, FFA.
Is there a second?
Dobson, second.
Thank you. It's properly moved by Director Wachter and seconded by Director Dobson. I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those who are opposed, please say no. Okay, the motion passes with a vote of 7-0. So next up, we have two proclamations to recognize and honor this evening. And so I would like to direct our attention for our first proclamation, the Filipino American History Month. And let's see, Director Dobson, would you begin reading the proclamation, please?
My pleasure. Whereas the Filipino American National Historical Society recognizes that the first recorded presence of Filipinos in the continental United States occurred on October 18, 1587, when Lujones Indios came ashore from the Spanish galleon Nuestra Senora de Esperanza and landed at what is now Morro Bay, California. And
whereas Filipino American National Historical Society was first introduced October as Filipino American History Month in 1992, and the theme of this year's celebration is struggle, resistance, solidarity, resilience, and
Whereas in 2009, Congress recognized October as Filipino American History Month in the United States, and in 2021, Oregon recognized October as Filipino American History Month, and
Whereas efforts must continue to promote the study of Filipino American history and culture because the role of Filipino Americans and those of other people of color have been overlooked in the writings, teachings, and learnings of the United States history. And
Whereas we take joy in celebrating the economic, cultural, social, and other notable contributions Filipino Americans have made in countless ways towards the development of the United States, and
Whereas it is imperative for Filipino American youths to have positive role models and to instill in them the importance of education, complemented with the richness of their ethnicity and the values of their legacy.
Thank you, Board. Is there a motion to approve the proclamation?
I move board approval that the board adopt the proclamation recognizing October 2024 as Filipino American History Month in North Clackamas School District.
Bauer, second.
Thank you. And before I call for a vote on the motion, I believe Director Benaloga actually would like to comment on this proclamation.
Yes, so October is Filipino American History Month, a time to recognize and celebrate the rich contributions of Filipino Americans to the fabric of our nation. This month serves as a powerful reminder of the cultural heritage, achievements, and ongoing struggles of Filipino Americans. It is an opportunity to honor notable figures in history like Dr. Jose Rizal and Larry Iltilong, while also recognizing the countless individuals whose stories may not be widely known. Their contributions span various fields, including arts, sciences, politics, and social justice, enriching our collective narrative. The narratives of Filipino immigrants reflect themes of resilience, adaptation, and determination. Many families have overcome significant challenges, contributing to Oregon's rich tapestry of immigrant experiences. By recognizing and celebrating Filipino American history in Oregon, we not only honor the contributions of this vibrant community, but also enrich the broader narrative of the state's cultural heritage. And just on a personal note, I've, of course, raised my children in the Filipino culture, my husband is from the Philippines and immigrated here when he was 20. And I love the culture. They're a wonderful people, wonderful food. If you ever have a chance to try Filipino food, and they're a wonderful, warm culture. And we have many Filipino families in our district, and I appreciate the opportunity to take this time to uplift them and give them a moment to shine.
Just beautifully said, Vice Chair Benaloga. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this proclamation? I just wanted to piggyback on that and say that we have wonderful student clubs and activities, and it's an opportunity for our students of various backgrounds and identities to find themselves in these clubs that really, I think, also celebrate their heritage and their histories. And so I don't know if we have a specific Filipino American history club, but I know that we have a broader Asian American and a Pacific Islander student union in several of our high schools. And so thank you. So the motion has been properly moved and seconded, and now I call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. And all those that oppose, please say no. Okay, the motion passes unanimously with a vote of 7-0. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the North Clackamas School District hereby proclaims the month of October 2024 as Filipino American History Month and encourages all residents to celebrate and honor Filipino American history and culture. Adopted this 26th day of September 2024. Thank you, Board. And now for our second proclamation. So this is next on our agenda. It is the School District Administrator Month here upcoming in October. And I would like to have Director Kemp please start reading the proclamation.
Whereas the vision, dedication, and determination of district administrators provide the mobilizing effort behind school district improvement efforts.
Whereas administrators in their various roles are expected to be educational visionaries, instructional leaders, assessment experts, advocates, community builders, and operational managers, as well as being entrusted with the education and development of young people, the most valuable resource.
Whereas administrators help establish a positive district climate and work collaboratively with staff to develop and maintain high standards and set performance goals and objectives for the district to achieve excellence.
Whereas the North Clackamas School District recognizes outstanding leaders who have succeeded in providing high-quality learning opportunities for children, as well as their exemplary contributions to the profession.
Whereas to honor and recognize the contribution of all district administrators to the success of children in North Clackamas elementary and secondary schools, and to encourage residents of North Clackamas to observe School District Administrators Month with appropriate activities that promote awareness of school leadership's role in ensuring that every child has access to a high-quality education.
Thank you. And is there a motion to approve the proclamation?
Chair, I move approval that the board adopt the resolution recognizing October 2024 as School District Administrator Month in North Clackamas School District.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Bauer, second.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to say some words as it relates to this proclamation. So I just really want to thank all of the amazing, dedicated administrators in our Oregon public schools who are really leading an essential role in shaping our communities broadly and also in our schools, and really paving just the pathways to success for every student and staff member. I know that this was, I think, shared in the proclamation, but I just want to reiterate just the breadth of activities and responsibilities that administrators at every level, from our elementary, middle to high school, are charged with. So just to name a few: developing class schedules, ensuring curriculum standards are met, providing professional development opportunities for teachers, monitoring student success with test results and other data, helping oversee the school budget, coordinating school security, communication with the community, and hiring and overseeing new staff members. So this is just a little sliver of just the many, many responsibilities that our administrators have. And I also know that just about 2 board meetings ago at our back to school first school board meeting of the year, we had a lot of new and returning administrators in our district, and we just welcomed them with great applause. And so thank you so much for your passion and your dedication as a school administrator, and we hope that we can just continue working together collaboratively to share our vision for student success. So thank you.
Chair, I'd like to
Yes,
just say,
absolutely.
I just want to say thank you to the administrators. We wouldn't have increased enrollment, we wouldn't have low turnover, and we wouldn't have tenure teachers if we didn't have amazing administrators. So it's, thank you.
Thank you. Are there other board members who'd like to comment? Or okay, Director Dobson.
Yes, I'm going to pile on there as well, because I'm very cognizant, especially today and in this moment, that it takes a special kind of courageous leadership to helm a school district, especially one the size of North Clackamas, where there are a lot of different opinions and a lot of different, participants from the community who have their different ideas about how things should be done. But knowing that the decisions that you make, all of you, are made with the best interest of the students of North Clackamas at heart, gives me a lot of comfort. And I know that the majority of parents in this district feel the same way. So thank you all for your dedication, your hard work, and that courageous leadership.
And I think we also, as board members, look forward to seeing your schools, visiting your schools throughout the school year. We know that there's lots of activities happening every month, almost every week. And, as board members, it's really an honor and a privilege to also see your work in action as you host many events. So thank you again. So there has been, the proclamation has been properly moved and seconded, and I now call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those that oppose, please say no. And the motion passes unanimously with a vote of 7-0. Be it resolved in honor of the service of administrators and to recognize the importance of their leadership so that every child has access to a high quality education and to celebrate school district leader accomplishments. The month of October 2024 is hereby designated in the North Clackamas School District to be School District Administrator Month and adopted this 26th day of September 2024. Okay. Well, thank you, board. And next up, I would like to welcome our school presentation for this evening. We have some very wonderful special guests who've been waiting so patiently for us. Thank you. A presentation on Beatrice Morrow Kennedy Elementary. I welcome the executive director of our elementary programs, Patricia Ahrens, who will introduce our guests.
Good evening, and I have to say that thank you so much for all the words that have been expressed during the proclamation and after the proclamation towards our administrators. They really mean a lot for them and for us, so thank you for that. So I'm glad to introduce tonight our Beatrice Morrow Kennedy team and the dedicated team that is going to present tonight. We are going to have the opportunity to listen to only a glimpse of all the wonderful things, their commitment to their community and the dedication to their students, so the students can reach their full potential. I'm going to pass the microphone to the principal so she can introduce her team and who do we have here tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us join you tonight. My name is Allison Schlicht. I'm the principal at Beatrice Morrow Kennedy, and joining me with my fabulous team is next to me, Barbara Stevens. She is a 4th grade teacher at our school. I'm going to move this closer to me so I'm not awkwardly bending over. And Chad Craner, who is our school counselor. I'm also going to give a shout out to our PTO president, who's here supporting in the back, Courtney Gelbrick. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I'm going to ground us as we begin in our school mission, which I will read to you, and you will see this weave itself throughout the presentation that we have prepared for you this evening. At Beatrice Morrow Kennedy, we create a safe, inclusive, and welcoming environment where all students are inspired and empowered daily. By partnering with families, we educate the whole child, affirm identities, celebrate differences, and ensure equitable access. Our core values, joy, curiosity, perseverance, mindfulness, kindness, and belonging, guide our efforts with students at the heart of everything we do. And we'll come back to that throughout our presentation. You can see here some of the demographics represented at our school. This is something that we're very proud of at Beatrice Morrow Kennedy. We have a very diverse community of families that join us from all corners of the world. You'll see here 27 different languages represented at our school, 28 with English. So we really value this as part of what we do in our work and love the fact that we have so much of the world represented in our school community. I'm going to jump right into academics first. As you know, we're just getting the school year kicked off, and we are just now finishing our first assessment window for our reading and math. So the data that you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen is actually last year's data and the growth that we made at each grade level last year. And looking at that, we created a goal based on what we would predict our baseline data to be for this year. And that data is just now coming in, so we don't have that quite yet for you, but we will have it very soon as we're finishing up the the testing window. So the goal for this year for reading specifically is that by June, we will increase the number of students reading on or above grade level to reach at least a minimum of 80% at each grade level, kindergarten through 5th grade. And we do use the FastBridge reading assessment to measure our data. The FastBridge is a screening tool, and then teachers use that to know where to dig in deeper to address individual student need. Bringing back that mission that I presented at the beginning to ground us, these are different pieces that show up in our mission. These are a couple of photos of students in our school doing the cross grade buddies, which is part of our social emotional learning curriculum. We use Caring School Communities for that, as do all elementary schools in our school district. And through that, we teach students to learn more about who they are and all of the pieces that make up each of them as unique, beautiful individuals. And then how do they build bridges across difference and find commonalities working with a buddy from a different grade level throughout the year. And it's just beautiful to see those relationships grow and the activities that teachers plan together across grade levels. These are the values. I read them all at the beginning, and we are about to watch a video that highlights these 6 values that we weave into our daily work at Beatrice Murrow Kennedy. Here is the video. I don't know how to push the video.
I'm in 2nd grade, and what brings me joy is my teacher because she's really, really nice. I'm in 5th grade, and the reason why joy is important to me is because it builds up my character in life. I'm in 2nd grade. I think joy is very important because people have fun when they have joy.
My core value at BMC is joy. I love creating a fun and positive experience for the students and the staff here. I love making bulletin boards. I love just working with kindergarten. I just have so much joy in what I do, and I'm just so grateful to be able to work here.
I'm in 4th grade, and I think the school value curiosity is the most important because it's important to be curious and ask questions to build a growth mindset. I'm in 5th grade. I think curiosity is really important because without curiosity, there wouldn't be fossils in museums or explorers. I also started being curious about how can I be better at making friends. And then I have lots of friends now. I'm in 5th grade, and mindfulness means that you respect people and your peers.
My value that I really resonate with is mindfulness because that really centers my mind and my brain for learning, and so I think it is a really important value to uphold throughout the day and throughout the year.
I'm in 4th grade, and one thing about perseverance is that it's to not give up. Do not give up on your studies. Keep studying more on math, literature, and social studies. I'm in the 5th grade. I think perseverance is really important because if people say like something mean to you and you try to give up, that's not a good thing to do because you need to keep trying and soon you will achieve it.
My core value is perseverance because no matter how hard the task, I persevere and I keep trying and get it done.
Belonging. Yeah, I'm in 5th grade, and I think belong is important because it teaches kids and adults to know that everyone is different and that's okay.
I would say a good core value that I like to think about is belonging. In our school, everyone is welcome and everyone belongs. So when I'm working here in the library, it's always in my mind because the library is for everyone and books are for everyone.
My favorite core value that we have has to be belonging. I think it's so crucial in creating spaces that are safe and inclusive and help students to feel valued and seen for who they are.
I am in 5th grade, and I think kindness is really important because it makes people feel like they are wanted. Then I'm in 4th grade, and I respect kindness because if you're kind to someone, they might help you out in the future. Joyfulness! Belonging. Kindness.
I love those kids. Thank you for sharing that moment of joy with us. The next slide is a little bit about, though, this is our amazing staff. They are so hardworking and dedicated and passionate about the work they do with our kids and our community. And this is just some of the things that we're focusing on as far as professional growth and development and the academic realm of things. As a school district, we are focusing on the high five collaborative learning and feedback strategies, and that is where I focus my observations with teachers and feedback throughout the year. We have a variety of different strategies that we're looking for as administrators in classrooms, and I work with teachers on that, and they work together on making sure that those are being implemented. We also have a new math curriculum this year, so we're focusing a lot of our professional development hours and time on learning that new curriculum. We have 2 different math PDs per month that are virtual that our teachers join and specialists as well join in on to learn about the new curriculum, get support, and plan together so that they can implement it to fidelity. And then we also have our professional learning communities, which have been previously established and are up and running to look at data and go through the 4 questions. What do we want kids to know? How will we know that they've learned it? What will we do if they don't learn it? And what will we do if they need extensions and they already have mastered the skill? So those are just some of the highlights that we're working on as a staff. We also have lots of other things like data teams and math learning walks that we'll do throughout the year. All right. Next, I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Craner.
All right, so we're going to jump back to our mission here for a second and just reminding us that part of our mission states that we strive to create inclusive and welcoming environments. And so when we're thinking about our goals for our students, in order for them to achieve the academic goals that we've created, we believe that our focus has to be on creating classroom communities where each of our individual students feel welcome and feel included in the learning experience so that they can focus their energy, pour that into learning. And so we have a couple pieces of information from our Youth Truth Survey up here that kind of highlight how we're doing that, or that's how that's showing up in our building. So we have a 3rd grader who said, "My teacher helps me by helping me when I need it." And how she cares about me is she just, well, cares about all of us. And I think that's really beautiful how this student recognized that the teacher not only cared about her, but about the entire class. And when we talk about the belonging piece and that inclusivity, it's not just me, it's all of us. So I thought that was really beautiful. And then this 91% of our students believe that their teacher wants them to do their best. And if they believe the teacher wants that and believes in them, they're more likely to believe in themselves. So those were some really neat points from our survey. We're going to jump into our goals for the year. So we have on this slide our family engagement goal as well as our school climate goal. We'd like to see our family engagement increase from 60 to 80%. So it's incredibly important to us that we not only foster a sense of belonging in our students, but that our families also know that they are a vital part of our community. And so we're going to continue to ensure that we're doing our best to engage them in the work that we're doing with our students. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what some of those engagement pieces look like in a couple slides. Post-COVID, we noticed that attendance has been a bit of an issue, and there are myriad reasons why that is. One factor might be that families are more cautious around illness, so maybe choosing to keep kids home when they could probably be in school. So we decided to focus our school climate goal on attendance, and we're hoping to move that needle from 74% attendance to 90%. We understand that consistent attendance is a key factor in academic success, and so we want to make sure that we instill that in our students at a young age and build that foundation. Part of that foundation is, we believe, educating families on the importance of regular attendance. So this year we're planning on sending out information to families in the form of infographics that help them to better understand how those absences add up and how quickly they can add up and the negative impacts that has on students, not only this year, elementary, but down the road in middle and high school as well. So just building that knowledge base for families. And then we have 2 teams in our building that are dedicated, or not dedicated, but that will be reviewing our attendance data regularly to identify those students that are at risk for moderate to chronic absenteeism, and then partnering with teachers and families to identify the barriers to to attendance and provide supports and interventions as needed to help get those students in the door. And then we just had a few more key insights that we wanted to share from our Youth Truth Survey that we were feeling very proud of and wanted to highlight. So 75% of our families expressed pride in our school, which is a strong reflection of that community spirit that we want to foster. 82% believe that we foster a friendly environment, and 84% feel that the adults in our school value diversity and people from different countries, which all connects back to that hugely important core value of belonging and inclusivity.
So our special events and family, the community, the things we've done for the community, you see a list of things up there that we do, which are really cool, and PTO, that, gets this all going and everything. The Read BMC, or the book swap, the first year we had students kind of bring in books that are gently used and that we could, have a big swap day, and it went really well. And last year we did it again, and they brought in just under 4,000 books from all the classrooms from kindergarten through 5th grade. And then on that day when it was the book swap, kids could take anywhere from 3 to 5 books and take them home, and that was really cool. And let's see. One thing that we're going to be doing to try to improve or increase the family and feeling like they're part of the school is Mrs. Allison is going to do Coffee with the Principal, which she used to do virtually, and we're going to open it up to come in, and PTO is going to help support that. And so we're going to do that a few times throughout the year. We also, a way to get parents maybe more involved. Back in the day, I'll say, we used to do a lot more activities or parties or whatever, and parents came in, they really liked being a part of that, like the classroom. And that isn't, we don't do that as much, but we can have things like maybe a mystery reader, where it's kind of fun for the kids to kind of like give hints to who this is. They don't know who it is. It could be a family member, it could be a community member, police officer, whatever, maybe even a teacher that's coming in. And then, there's clues, and then they come in and they do like a guest reading thing. And so our teachers are pretty excited about doing some of that. And maybe thinking about the heritage months that we have every month, maybe opening up for families to come in if they want to share a little bit of their culture, bring in some activities or maybe food, I don't know. But, just, I know at Happy Valley we did that, and it was super, kids really enjoyed that. So those are, well, what? We have a cultural enrichment budget for PTO. Oh, very nice. PTO has a cultural enrichment budget, so we might be able to do even more of that. And then, there we go. Here are some of the other things that we've done, which is great. The PTO purchased you can see up there, a yearbook for every single kid, and that was really cool. Oregon Battle of the Books is we did it last year for the first time, and grades 3 through 5, we had 110 to 120 kids participate. That was 24 different teams. It went really well. Parents came in and helped also meet with kids and stuff. Kids are super excited. PTO supported that last year as well by buying sets of books for the classroom. So we have 2 sets for every grade level of the books. And we also offer it for all kids, whether they're avid readers or not, because they can listen to the book or the parents can read it. So it's open to anybody that wants to participate. That was really popular last year, and kids last spring they're like, what are the books for next year? I want to go. So we're really excited to get that up and going again. So there's just a few things that we do to try to get the community involved.
Yeah, I would also add on that our PTO has been really great and supportive of the idea of inclusivity and access. When we do things like fundraisers or events, we really talk about honoring and celebrating and doing like a reward structure by grade level, so that we're not celebrating or highlighting specific families that are able to donate, but it's a team effort by grade level. So it's more of a competition between who can bring in the most money by grade level rather than recognizing kids and making kids feel othered if they are not able to contribute. And that way it's unifying, it creates team effort, and we're getting ready for our jogathon. So I'm thinking of that, and our PTO has just done a fabulous job embracing that idea of inclusivity and making everything that we do accessible for every single student, regardless of what their home life looks like. So with that, I think we're at questions. Yes. Sorry, I can't.
I know.
I can't see.
I'm sorry. I'm like fixated by this quote from someone that some of us used to serve with. I'm like, Stephen Schrodel. Look, go figure.
I wonder what you're looking at.
Director McVeigh.
On your FastBridge slide,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming those numbers represent students, like 77 in the fall and 83 in the spring? Or those percents?
Percentages, yes.
So what's the overall
I can go
percentage
back
of
to that.
K through 5?
Yeah, let me just go back to it. So Kinder went from 77% of students reading on grade level or above in the fall to 83% reading on or above in the spring. And then so on and so forth. And you can see some grade levels did better than others. The way the FastBridge assessment works is that the benchmark moves. So what students are assessed on in the fall, it gets harder. We do a winter assessment as well. And then in the spring, it's the end of year expectations. So all students make growth, but do they meet the end of year benchmark? Not necessarily. So there's, particularly with our third grade, you can see what happened there. The third grade benchmark in particular is when reading really starts getting difficult. And last year was our first year implementing this assessment, so it was new. And I had really productive conversations with each of my 3 third grade teachers last year. They wrote their professional goals and their student growth goals around reading and math FastBridge. And they were just like, they spent so much work in their professional learning communities and trying to get those results up, and we didn't get there. So we're going to continue at it this year.
Thanks. I wasn't sure if those represented the students that were achieving 80% or if that were their percentages. So.
They were the percentages.
Okay,
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
Chair, can I jump in?
Yes, thank you.
I was also going to go to the FastBridge slide. Thank you, Director McVeigh. Yeah, I guess that slide, just on a plain reading of it, led me down the wrong pathway. And so I'm glad that you took a little time to explain sort of the different kinds of assessments that are involved in the methodology. So in a future slide, I would include that as an asterisk, because if it doesn't, that as a plain reading does not necessarily represent the growth that's happening in those students,
Yeah,
especially in
for the
third grade
feedback.
and beyond. So, fantastic presentation. I really love the culture that you're building. From what I'm seeing from the presentation and the video and these children and the values that I think everyone can connect to, every single one of us as board members and in our community and our students, we want joy and curiosity and belonging and perseverance. We want all of those. That's the kind of community that I want to belong to, and I'm glad that you're fostering that community.
Yeah.
At this
They're
school.
universal across culture, and we are very proud of our work in our school community. It's a beautiful place to be, and I'd love to take you up on visitation. We would love to have all of you come out. I'm happy to walk around with you anytime.
Sign me up. I'm ready to go.
Absolutely.
Director Bauer?
Thank you, Chair Way. I want to do a shout out to your PTO because I have visited and been impressed with all the hard work they've done. Courtney, you've done a great job. And stepping up for the whole district wide, with our levy work, they are engaged. So my question was on family engagement. I think you gave a lot of good examples. And so are most of those new activities that you're doing, and you're hoping then that will go from 60 to 80?
Some are new. Barb mentioned the coffee with the principal, which I have done. It's not actually one of the things up here. I did it virtually, just coming off of COVID. We kind of kept with the virtual, and maybe it's more accessible to people that have to work during the day. They could just log on to a virtual meeting with me. The first couple I did, I had a handful of parents join me, and then it trickled off to last year I had 0 participation from families, even though we advertise it and we communicate about it, we build it up. So this year I'm going to do, like Barb mentioned, in person, and our PTO, thanks again, Courtney, has offered to support with some coffee and pastries, and we'll do it right after arrival time. So maybe that will incentivize people just dropping by. It's just an informal opportunity to get to know me better and chat about how things are going and bring people into the building. So that's one thing that's not up there. The rest of the things, like the book swap and Read BMC, they just continue to grow every year. So.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think those personal relationships are great. Your attendance is good. So, I mean, it went down a little bit this year, but it's higher than the state average and higher than the district-wide. So these other things that Chad, you mentioned, are they new that you're following up on and trying to figure out what the barriers are? Is that new process too?
Yeah, we've sent out information to families in a different way before, and we wanted to make it not feel like it's punitive. So sending information rather than going right for a letter that your student has been absent, I think is a healthy way of doing that. And the teams are new this year. We had an attendance team last year, but it was a different format. And so now we've got 2 teams looking at the data to be able to support and make sure that we're catching anyone who might fall through the cracks.
That's great. Well, your data is certainly very good. But yeah, thank you for explaining that slide and asking about that. Good job. I enjoyed your presentation.
Director Kemp?
Yeah, I was curious, how do you like the Fast Bridge reading assessment tool? Is that, I'm curious to see how that, because I think that's going to be district-wide, and that was one of the things I had questions on too. But they've been answered by others.
A little bit. What I noticed, we used to do STAR, and STAR was had more little passages that they read. It was more comprehension, and maybe using inserting their corrected vocabulary word into like a sentence that had a word missing or whatever. This is high vocabulary, where, I mean, I was standing behind a kid watching him like I'm 4th grade. Where's this 4th grader gonna get? I'm not teaching this word. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's really, really high in vocabulary. So we have our kids that, I mean, a lot of kids that have they travel a lot, they go a lot of places, they're exposed to a lot, they might, so it's just a little different. So we have to refocus vocabulary a little bit differently, I think. I mean, to give them that, like, synonyms and, or different, thinking like a tone of a word or whatever, and that's not the right word, but like, it could be like horrific and bad, you know what I mean? Like, so, and they're multisyllabic, and so, and it's really high vocabulary. We all thought like, oh my gosh, this is different than. So, like anything new, you learn. We don't want to teach the test, but I mean, it's just different in how you the more experience you have with something, more
It's also a screening tool, so it's not the only thing that we would use. It gives us a one data point that is helpful for knowing where kids are at, and then teachers do diagnostic assessments as well to get deeper into what are the specific learning targets for each individual student. And then, all the data is we look at so many different data points for each child, and we take into consideration what do they need in order to continue to move them forward and make progress.
I guess maybe hearing what you've already replied, is it a good tool from a teacher's standpoint to measure where the kids are at the beginning of the year and check the progress throughout the year? I mean, is it, I don't know, I'm not certain if I read everything right, that it is a good tool. Maybe it's a bit challenging, it sounds like.
Well, it's nationally normed too, so we can compare, where, I mean, curriculum is a pendulum, Personally, no, never mind.
I will share. It's a tool. We can get you some additional information on that, but there's a perspective, and so we have many teachers who love it. There's probably many in the middle, and probably some that they might like something different. But we can get you some information on it. No assessment tool or screener tool is perfect.
Well, of course,
as we
yeah.
know, but we would be we'll definitely get you some information.
Yeah, okay.
Great questions, and I want to make sure I get through everyone. Director Dobson.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump on the one fast bridge question, which is the test progressive? So like as the kids are taking the test, they get harder and harder questions. Okay, so some of those surprisingly hard words could be for students who progressed that far in the test.
Yes, and
or
no.
Okay.
I mean, even just kids at
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was just really heavily vocabulary, not intertwined in a passage where you could use context clues to figure it out, right? So when you're reading and now you're you can kind of figure it out based on what's going on when you're reading for comprehension. But it was really like if you didn't know, you didn't have a lot to go back on.
Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you for that. And that was my follow-up question, which ended up going first, because what I really wanted to say, my real comment is, Kennedy is my neighborhood elementary school and has a very special place in my heart from the time that the district started imagining it and planning it, choosing its name, and filling its library with books. It's the youngest of our schools, and it has had a lot of like trials and tribulations because it opened so close to the pandemic, because the rapid rate of growth out in that area has crowded the classrooms from day one, and because it's an amazing school. They're doing amazing things, and it sometimes ends up being a stepping stone for amazing people to move on and do other things. It's also had some turnover, but consistently, it has shown these values that were talked about here today, that it really cares for the students, that it's building a community around joy and kindness, as well as rigorous academics, which is important, to me as a parent, and I know to the other parents in the community. So along with their amazing PTO, which is so supportive and has just done, so much to hold things together and lift the kids up and the teachers too, throughout these years. So I just want to say it's just been a pleasure to be in your neighborhood and watch you grow, and to watch these students achieve and move forward with such bright futures. So thanks for all the work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. And Vice Chair Benaloga?
Yes, thank you. And thank you for the presentation. Always love to see the videos with the kids. I do have a question about attendance. I'm going to go back to that a little bit. And I know it's so hard because we want the kids in the classroom. So it's a very lofty goal that you're going to increase, right, from 74 to 90% attendance. I think that's wonderful. And I know that I do understand that there's probably a barrier as to more families are very cautious when their child is sick, and they're a little bit more conservative, and they maybe have them stay home because they are concerned about, spreading an illness or what have you. So what other barriers are you just really starting to work on that? So what is the thought process as far as how figuring out what the barriers are? And then aside from educating families, which I think is so important to really have them see the data on what that looks like when we miss school, what other strategies do you think you're going to be using to encourage more attendance?
Yeah, I can start. I think just keeping it at the forefront of a priority that we talk about with staff. Teachers are the first point of contact with families. They have the closest relationship to the parents because they know the students the most. So really just that continual reminder and time dedicated is another big piece for teachers to do that outreach. If you have noticed that a student is absent and they haven't shared why, send them an email, give them a call. And I think if we can dedicate time, teachers are so busy and they have so many things that they are responsible for. So if we don't create time and space for teachers to really do that outreach to their families, then it sometimes can tend to get shuffled into the bottom of the list of things to do. So we really want to prioritize that as we are dedicating time. Look at your class list. Who is tending to be absent? What have you done to connect with the family to bring them in? How can we support? Mr. Craner is always there to support, as is myself. And really just figuring out what is the reason. Like, do we know why they're absent? If we don't know, then let's find out and start there. But we need time to be able to do that, to create space for them.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, board. I really just appreciate all the questions and the responses from our team up here. And, we love seeing these wonderful presentations by our administrators and folks on the ground every board meeting. And this is, again, just a really great example of ways that we are engaging, right, with each other and asking questions and learning about just your plan also for student success and achievement. So thank you so much. I think all of us will also end up taking your offer to come out to Beatrice Morrow one of these days during the school year. I know that it was just been an absolute honor and a privilege to attend the groundbreaking ceremony when that building was being built several years ago, and to, like Director Dobson said, visit your amazing library. It was filled with awesome books, and there were some books that some families pointed out of just reflecting their culture and their identity and their heritage. So it was just very warming to see families and kids really connecting, to all of these different opportunities. So thank you, and I hope you have a great evening.
Likewise, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we have our final agenda item for this evening, which is a North Clackamas Education Foundation update. And I would like to welcome at this point our Chief of Staff, Tiffany Shireman, who will introduce our guests.
Good evening, all. Chair, Board of Directors, nice to be here. Tiffany Shireman, Chief of Staff here, and I do serve as the staff liaison to the foundation this year. After a 6-year hiatus, I am back with the foundation, and I will tell you, this is the most planful foundation experience I've had. They're very planful in their work. They also are incredibly adaptive. So, that's what it takes when you're out there trying to raise friends and raise funds, is you have to plan and then you have to adapt to whatever's going on. They do that very well. So tonight it's my pleasure to introduce to you both Stephanie Rose, the Executive Director, and Claire Hobson, the Chair of the Board of Directors, who will provide your annual update.
Perfect. All right. And slide that one over there. All right. And then do I hit this button? No, that's volume. This button. Nope. There you go.
There we go. Down is up. All right. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us here to present. I'm Stephanie Rose. I'm the Executive Director of the North Clackamas Education Foundation. I'm really excited to be here tonight. Not in the Executive Director role, but in other roles and up to the Executive Director role, have been with the foundation now for 10 years. And to see the growth that has happened with the foundation over that time, the growth in our board, the community that we've reached, and what has gone on has just been and just been incredible. Leading up to this year, we provided $320,000 in support to the students, families, and educators of North Clackamas schools. That's our largest award year in the foundation's 32-year history. So that was a really big milestone for us to hit, and we're hoping to keep up the momentum of that, keep that moving forward by continuing to grow our outreach to our community, grow the funds that we have coming in, and continue just moving forward in that direction for the district. So just an overview of our year at a glance. That $320,000 included $67,000 in grants and program supports. Now that includes our enrichment grant program, as well as our funded teacher program. It includes programs that fundraise through us. So that has expanded in some ways. Like this year, one of the new ones that we had, Sabin Schellenberg came to us, and their architecture program has always historically had had an auction for their architecture class that students make these wood carvings and they auction them off. They wanted to try to do an online auction this year. So collaborating with us through that, we were able to platform that online auction for them and help them raise more money than they have raised in the past on that. And so we're looking forward to continuing to help them do that online auction platform. We did a little over $66,000 in scholarships. We'll get more into that a little bit later, but we continue to move our scholarships program forward, continue bringing in new scholarships. As people around the district hear about us, they bring memorial scholarships to us to honor their loved ones who may have passed, as well as come to us to maybe do music scholarships or things like that that they want students to pursue. The $82,000 to student and family support, that included money to the clothes closet, the food pantry, the hygiene pantry, as well as Backpack Buddies and the emergency housing program. So we work really closely with them. As I think a lot of people know, our office is inside the Wichita Center, and so we see our partners in that building frequently, and we work close with them to make sure that their needs are being met, that we're continuously fundraising and reaching out for them and getting that money out. And then the $105,000 in district-directed priority funding, that includes things that the district has said, this is our priority, can you help us fund this? It has been library books for the last 2 years. That was $45,000 in this last year. Music instruments that are to replace the old music instruments in the schools. So that was $20,000 this year, as well as classroom supports and other things. Technically, it's $110,000 in district-directed priority funding, but $5,000 of that is wrapped up into our grants and program support in the form of discretionary grants, though we will be addressing that differently in the future. That $5,000 will be going directly to the district, and the district will be using that to put out at their discretion. So that will be a slight change that we've done historically, and it'll change going forward. So this is our the $67,000 that we did in grants and program support. So $25,000 in classroom enrichment grants, $42,000 in that discretionary grants and those funded teacher disbursements. 17 schools, which is we always seem to hit about half of the schools in the district each year with a round robin of schools that come to us. 29 grants awarded and 7,000 students. As our funded teacher program has grown, looking at that, the first year we did our funded teacher program, I think we raised like $500. And what that program is, I should step back and explain that for a second, is what that program is teachers and programs come to us and say, we need some help fundraising for this. And maybe they can't wait for our enrichment grants, or maybe they didn't receive a grant, or they don't fall quite under the guidelines of our enrichment grants. But we put them online through our online fundraising platform, and it works as a crowdsourcing platform for them. So they go up on our website, they push it out to the public, they push it out to their parents, their friends, everyone, and they say, hey, can you help us fundraise? And so our first year we did that, we saw like $500. And the second year, I think it was about $2,000. Last year, we were right around $4,000, and this year we did just about $10,000. And so that program is just continuing to grow, and educators are seeing the benefit in coming to us over using other larger platforms that may not be as closely connected to their community or may charge a higher fee to their program for that. And we had some really fun grants. I know there's some, this is online, on the districts, on the school district's website, as well as ours that goes through some of these. We did a literacy and native language program at Oregon Trail Elementary, which was really fun. They brought books into their libraries for students who were English language learners, so they were able to engage in their reading into their native language. We did the Asian American and Pacific Islander Affinity Club at RAU, as well as the Black Student Union. We funded them at RAU as well, and then also helping out with science programs. We had some biology groups that we helped out. We had climate and air quality data, a program that we helped out, as well as the Kingsman Thunder Drumline was a program that we've helped for, gosh, I think we're going on 6 or 7 years that we've helped support them now. And then other things to help kids kind of start off their day on the right foot, brain bins, things to help with social emotional learning, and things to just help them get settled in the classroom for soft starts when they come in the morning. Our scholarships program, as I said before, continues to grow. We did 25 scholarships to 21 students. Now, as you can tell by that number, students are eligible for multiple scholarships through us. And so this is our wide range of scholarships. We had 2 scholarships that were new in 2023-24. That was the Indigenous Student Scholarship and the Coach Memorial Scholarship, who was a beloved coach at Milwaukee High School who had passed away. We are also facilitating the Owen and Edna Sabin Scholarship, so we do not fund that one. That one comes from the Oregon Community Foundation. We have been helping facilitate it historically, though I think we're going to be having some talks about moving that to another sector of the district. And then we also fund the Sabin Schellenberg Technical Scholarship. And so just seeing this, a lot of the students that receive these scholarships are first-generation college students. A lot of these students have really significant barriers to affording college. And, for the ones that like the Chartwell Scholarship and the Leo Brown Music Scholarship, the Hill STEM Scholarship, those are all so specific to what the students want for their future. The Leo Brown Scholarship is specifically for students who want to pursue a music career. And usually the preference is given to a student that wants to become a music teacher, to pursue that career, to come back to the schools. The Judas Hill STEM Scholarship is for redressing the underrepresentation of women who are in the STEM fields. And then our Chartwell Scholarship is done by, of course, our nutrition services program helps fund that. And that is for any student who wants to go into nutrition services. And so we see a lot of culinary students apply and receive that scholarship, as well as students in the nursing program who are wanting to go into nutritional service fields in that route. And looking into the 2024-25 school year, we have already awarded $10,000 to 13 projects in 7 different schools this year. Some of those we're looking at, one of the grants was to our 4th grade rooms in Beatrice Morrow Canada Elementary. So they're going to have some fun new things that they are excited for their students to collaborate with. We've once again, so this the 2nd year now, helped fund the RAU Black Student Union. And then a lot of our programs this year that grants came to us seem to really revolve around creative writing. So I think students or teachers are really looking at pulling their students into those creative writing platforms. The district has again prioritized funding for $45,000 in library, 20 in elementary music. And then we also have a grant that we received from Nike for $50,000 for college readiness, which is slated to go out to all 5 high schools in the district. And I say 5 because they did include New Urban in that grant funding. So we're looking forward to meeting with district administration and figuring out getting that $50,000 out to them. And then engaging the community in new ways. I mentioned that we had our biggest award year in the foundation history. One of those was we received our first ever endowment from an estate. So that was really exciting to see. And we've already been signing paperwork for some more upcoming endowments. So we're, I think, reaching the community in that way for people to see that we're worthy of them continuing their beliefs towards education and that. We've also been applying for a lot of grants already this year. We did receive an $80,000 grant from the Clackamas Workforce Partnerships already this year, and then there's several more that we're continuing to reach out to look forward to. And then everyone knows about our gala, May 1st, but before I get to that, our Building Bridges Luncheon at Sabin. So this is the first year we're doing this, and we're really excited about this. Our main focus is the business community, and we're looking at reaching out to the business community, anywhere from small businesses to large businesses, to have them come and join us at Sabin to look at the work that the foundation has done at Sabin, the things that we have supported, and also the work that Sabin's doing to support students going into the workforce, and really looking at building that bridge between our business community and Sabin and our future workforce. And it'll be as much informational as well as a light fundraiser for us. We're really excited. The culinary students will be making lunch for us that day, so everyone will get to experience that. And then our gala last year, we raised $125,000, which was our largest fundraising success for the gala in the foundation's history. Our next is going to be May 1st, again at Gray Gables. We did sell out last year, so if you guys want to come, tell people to buy their tickets early so you can get in there. And with that, I think Claire has a few things to say.
I just wanted to say thanks for the opportunity to come and visit. And thank you for the wonderful school board liaisons that regularly attend our meetings. We're very grateful for that. As Tiffany mentioned, my name is Claire Hobson. I recently retired from Bonneville Power after a 38-year career. My husband and I have lived in the district. We have 4 adult children, 26 to 34. Milwaukee Elementary, Rao, and Milwaukee High School, and I'm happy to report they're all thriving and doing well in the adulting arena, which is you all can take much pride in. Take some credit for. I'm really grateful to have the time and energy, quite frankly, to chair the board. Stephanie covered over our last year's accomplishments just beautifully, and it was a fantastic year. The board is really excited about the accomplishments, but the bar is set high, and now we are focusing on the new year, this new fiscal year, and I'm happy to report we've got some really good momentum. We're on the brink of putting together or bringing in a couple of new board members. We're excited about this Building Bridges Luncheon. It's a 1-hour time commitment out of respect for those in our business community that might be intimidated or just not have time for anything else. And of course, our gala next May. Great board members, very dedicated to public education and momentum. That's the word. We're building and we're growing and looking forward to this next year and the years beyond. Thanks again for the opportunity to be here.
Well, thank you.
Any questions? I was just going to say, any questions?
Well, thank you so much. I know that some of our board members do have some questions, but thank you for coming. And I believe we actually have our previous board member from our school board join the foundation recently. So Orlando's with you all too, and great addition to your board. Director Kemp?
Yeah, I was just curious about the luncheon event coming up. Is that open to any of the businesses in the area? I mean, do they have to have the business in North Clackamas School District, or because I'm thinking of companies that are maybe interested in some of the student programs at Sabin-Schellenberg?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone is welcome to attend. They don't have to have a business in North Clackamas.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Director Bauer.
Thank you, Chairway. Wow, I can just feel the enthusiasm. I really can. I was going to ask, are you confident about the remaining, you have 2 years of your contract, but I can feel it. 3, okay. Yeah. And you're ahead and you feel good. The word endowment, I heard that. I'm excited about that. So many new things you're doing, the luncheon and that partnership is such a good idea too. So thank you for your leadership and your years of service in so many other ways too, and a fellow BPA retiree from one to another. I did want to ask you, going back to your presentation, there was so much, I couldn't keep up, but you talked about this Nike grant. Is that new? It's
So
hard to get things from Nike.
we
They're not in
have,
Beaverton.
we've gotten 2 years of funding from them now, and
you have?
so 25,000 came in the first year and 25,000 came in the second year. So it was a
good.
$50,000 grant that they gave to us over 2
Okay.
years. So now we have the funding slated for all of the high schools because they sent it in weird little chunks. And so now that we have the full grant funding, we'll be working to push it out to all of the high schools.
You think they'll continue it possibly?
Hopefully.
Yeah,
It would be
good.
great to see them continue that.
And then Stephanie, you said something about an $80,000 grant. Was that new?
Yes, so
And
that
what
was
that?
that was a grant from Clackamas Workforce Partnerships, and what it was nonprofits are finally eligible for the ARPA relief funds that have been coming down the pipeline. So we were able to apply for that, and as most people are aware, our donations because of economic uncertainty really did slow down for several years over the pandemic. And we, were able to stay afloat and continue to push out support for our community. And so being able to show that in trust allowed them to give us the grant.
Well, thank you so much for the important work. I really appreciate it.
Great. Other board members would like to make comments or questions? Yes, Vice Chair Manolo.
Well, of course. The foundation is in my heart. I will say that Orlando Perez brings sugar to every board meeting that he comes to. I believe it's either crumble cookies or little buntinis, which he brought to the last meeting. So he brings the treats, and it's been wonderful to see the evolution in the foundation. Claire, a dear friend, and is just wonderful chair, and Stephanie has she is driving the foundation train and doing just wonderful. And we're so excited to have Tiffany back and have Tiffany back at the meetings as well. It's just amazing. It's amazing the things that they do. It's amazing. And the board is just expanding. 2 new board members, possible board members that joined last meeting. Just been wonderful. And and so thankful for Yvonne McVeigh's help and just being the treasurer for so many years. And yes, she does. And it's a lot. It's a lot of work, actually. We have a new treasurer, but just so many people that are dedicated. And what a wonderful thing that we're doing for this district and for the teachers in our district and for our students that want to further their education. I will say that the scholarships, you just see it full circle when you go to the Save in Schellenberg Awards. It's one of my favorite things to go to because you get to see the kids learn about their scholarships and receive their scholarships that evening from the foundation. And it's just fantastic. So wonderful work as always. I appreciate all of the work and the dedication for each one of you. And I look forward to the luncheon in December.
Thank you, Gina.
Director McVeigh?
Stephanie, thanks for all your work. Fabulous. And I have to say, I just keep thinking, Claire, all those years, all the board presentations you've done, and not 1 kilowatt spelled out on this slide. I guess we're not a public utility.
Fair point.
Should have just snuck it in there to see if we...
Great. Well, thank you so much again for this presentation and this update. And I am really excited about all of the things, but also for the 2 added scholarships for students in our district is really amazing. And just very curious, how did the Indigenous Heritage Scholarship come about? Was it a idea from community or backstory?
So when Adrian Nelson High School opened, someone in the community that was just really supportive of that came to us and gave us a $10,000 grant for the Indigenous student and parent group in the district. And so it was left very wide open for how they wanted to use that grant. And so they chose to use that grant in the form of scholarships to their students. So there'll be 10 $1,000 grants. We're working on, or $1,000 scholarships, working on seeing if there's a way that we can find extensive funding for that after that $10,000 are gone. 2,000 was awarded last year to 2 students that belong to the tribal community that graduated last year, and that will be continued to be awarded.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. And I just love seeing just the tangible impact, that y'all are making in the community, and anything that we can do as a board to, of course, keep being collaborative partners and also sharing your successes and your stories. I know that you have a very active social media presence. There's emails that I get all the time from the foundation and different things like that. But if there are other ways that we can help continue to amplify your great work. I see Curtis back there, and so I'm sure he already is dialed in or maybe thinking of ideas. Please absolutely let us know. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, board. Well, we are coming to an end of our agenda for this evening. So before we adjourn, I want to offer a quote to wrap up this evening. So last board meeting, I shared a quote from one of our country's youngest poet laureates. And this time I wanted to share one of the youngest UN Nobel Peace Prize winners, who was an 18-year-old. Many of you may have remembered her, and she's kind of an older adult, younger adult-ish now, and has just done really amazing things globally, but also locally. And her name is Malala Yousafzai. And she was the Nobel Peace Prize winner, and her work with the United Nations to make sure that all children worldwide can go to school, including millions of girls who today are unfortunately denied this right. So one of her quotes that I find very inspiring is, "I truly believe the only way we can create global peace is through not only educating our minds, but our hearts and our souls." So with that, it is now 8:08 p.m. and this public meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors is now adjourned.